So
Yep,
first, can you please say that these are all your personal opinions and that you don't speak for your company or corporation?
sure.
Okay. So first, could you introduce yourself, your role in the industry, and your area of expertise?
Actually, how can I say that I'm working in the CSAC team,
Mhm.
and I have a responsibility to cares about the AI and sustainability. The part is AI, so defining some best practice with the customers during the customers engagement, and then the designing the architectures and the show the right solution and answers to meet the customer's requirement to arranging our solutions, especially the AI is a major component, and then the redesigning the right solutions with a mix our Microsoft solutions with AI. We called it the AI design win, and the AI design win is based on some AI. We just the re-architecting to the another the workloads. The AI itself is nothing without having the additional components like a database and application host or analytics. So many things need to be organized to creating the right answer. So
Mhm.
that is my the responsibility to show
That is
them
very
right.
cool. Yeah. And how long have you been working in this field?
Where in Microsoft, I've been work around over almost 14 years, and
Whoa.
overall my experience almost 3 decades.
Wow. That's very impressive. And how have you seen AI impact your work over these years?
Yeah, obviously sometimes I really shocked our AI. The one of the biggest characteristic in AI in the non-deterministic. Sometimes we don't know how AI can the great answer. So there is very gray area, even though we are building something based on AI. So sometimes it really shock the response and the capability. So always trying to the right solution, so to working with the AI. As our AI model improved, the some how can I say that imaginations can be the more real solutions with the AI.
Mhm.
So nobody knows, but we exploring how much AI can much better stuffs can create much better stuffs. But we are trying to find any the good patterns as AI features or AI capabilities improved. So still learning and exploring to to finding the much more right answer against the customer's requirements. For
Yeah.
example, the nowadays I engaged the couple more the interesting customers requirements. At first one, I've been worked with a Chanel. Probably you might heard about
Mhm.
some
Yes,
customer
I've
name
heard about
Chanel.
that.
And in the case that Chanel customers want to leverage AI for their comparative analysis between their own ESG report against some any other competitors, the ESG report. But every ESG report, some page size over 800, almost 1,000 pages for each files. But think
Wow.
about by the human, not easy to read on every the 1,000 pages for each files,
Hmm.
and not easy to summarize, not easy to extract the relevant content to compare
Of course.
each every files. But with using the technologies and the AI, we could reduce the time to analyzing and creating the comparative analysis report against the 3 or 4 files at once. So within 10 minutes, we could creating some analysis report from the specific requirements. There is some pattern for document analysis. So another interesting pattern in the Queensland, the policeman station in in New Zealand, but in that case, the policeman. So the every policeman have to creating some report after getting the 911 urgent call, and that like some the 911 call center, someone else listens some the instant
Mm.
status, and then these things the before the engaging the AI, they have to summarize by themselves and the track and the creating the report. But within infusing the AI, all transcript files is going to pass to our model, and the model recognized some people reported to the phone. Behalf of a policeman, the AI can summarize and the generating report. And that during generating report, we adding the additional information to model. Hey model, you should check this each every some requirements and some evaluating how much this instant is serious or not. So model can evaluating and some priorities. For example, this instance in the set higher priority and the severity level 1, severity level 2, every evaluating so automatically scored by the model. Obviously, the policeman need to evaluating again by the human, but automatically at first, the model, AI model evaluating the each score, severity score automatically by model. So every this evaluating score, after checking by the policeman, automatically creating some instant report. So everything is some automatically processed from the getting phone from by the victims and reporter, and then generating the automatic the report by the framework to be evaluated. There is another pattern. The now another one is I'm creating some knowledge mining
Mhm.
solutions. So regarding some information in the company, for example, the healthcare, financing, or any other type of business documents, we can take an index at first by our the document processing processor, and then we can start to retrieve the relevant contents through the dialogue interface in the almost the near the real near time, and
Mhm.
getting the and making an answer. So yeah, we tried very interesting use case with that implementations in the real estate contract documents. There is some the real estate the contract documents is almost handwritten, very
Yeah.
ugly the writing.
Yeah.
But model recognize the very ugly handwritten, sometimes much more accurate than reading by human. So reading that handwritten documents, and then we can analyzing who was a seller, who was
So
a
AI
buyer. Yeah,
reads the handwriting better than the human.
handwriting better. Yeah, handwriting is much better.
How does that work?
Actually, there is some handwritten recognition features it contains. So handwritten or sometimes to summarizing or the extracting some context
Mm.
by the within the pictures. So for example, once you pass that picture, hey, model, just to get that information within a picture.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, right. Really surprised, to be
Mhm.
honest. So much more strong capabilities as models capabilities increased, we could take much more deeper insight. People not easy to recognize that context. sometimes the model is much more correct than human. Sometimes a human's eye is a little bit biased, not easy to detect, much more, how can I say that? The non-biased based some
Yes.
investigation, some
Hmm.
status, some context. But in that case, model is much, much better than human, I would say.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, there is
But
some good.
wouldn't there be inherent biases in the model just based on its training information?
Yeah, obviously, training is the very most important. Training is just preparing the patterns to recognize. So there is some highly related with some the data set. So most of all, to providing the right information to model, we cannot extract the right answer from model. The model, even though model is smart, but without providing the model to the right data, we cannot get some right answer. I mentioned that biased or non-biased, every data should be non-biased way. That is very important. Some responsible AI related one. So yeah, it's a really good point. During the training, just in case we share some data is a little bit biased one, the model possibly claim the answer is a totally biased one.
Mm-hmm. I do have a question about that. So in school, we learned about a branch of literary theory slash critical theory, and
Hmm.
it's based on the idea that the meaning of the text is constructed by the reader, so the
Hmm.
text holds no meaning by itself.
Hmm.
Therefore, every interpretation and every text is biased, so we can never have truly unbiased data to train the AI on.
Exactly. So how can I say that? Related with emotional stuff. Oh, how can I say that? There's a I would like to recommend to the which case is ideal to leveraging the AI. I could mention the literally and a little bit related with the human emotional stuff. Sometimes it's very tricky. So I would like to leveraging the some AI at this moment, just a real exact database analysis, much more the right use case rather than analyzing the literatories or some the specific the meaning based the human okay, very complicated to explaining it but
Yeah.
the literature is too much emotional related one and that the based on the language, whatever English or Korean. But the nowadays the Nobel Prize for the literature is some Han Gang, who was a Korean. He's a totally the Korean text.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah, right. But in that case, I tried to evaluating the emotional score with the Korean language and any other the translated language for the
Translated
French.
language is very
Yeah,
different.
exactly. So compare with some native language and some the translated language like some French or English,
Hmm.
but that possibly added the additional some biased descriptions during the
Yes.
translations.
I'm very interested in linguistics and I would like to talk more about that, but it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
really relevant to this interview. So the next question is, so you have already mentioned that you do use AI as a tool in your work and how it's
Mhm.
affected your efficiency, but how do you think it would affect workflows in a school setting?
School settings.
Yeah.
Oh, may I know the much more the detailed use case? What kind of stuff can be the school
Yeah,
settings?
let's say specifically high school. If
Hmm.
students were to use generative AI
Hmm.
in in high school, how would
Mhm.
it affect their workflow? Would it make it, like, based
Mhm.
on your experience, would it actually help students with their workload or would it be counterproductive?
100%, just in case some studies compare with some AI, the revolution search or the normal search. So when we try to find the specific information through the Google or Bing search engines, after the retrieving the search keywords, and we need to select one of them, and we have to check and read, and then the evaluating whether this contents already contains us a specific information what you want to search.
Yeah.
But AI is much more the context centric. So sometimes some AI-based search result is much better than the spending our time to search something through some traditional search engines.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think some the study some things to the students to search with with the AI could be much more practical and much more time saving. But I don't recommend generating some report
No.
by model. Yeah.
So it would be very useful if schools were to teach students to use the
Hmm.
AI technology wisely.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, I
what we
agree.
got from our round of interview with the students as well.
Uh, So we need to making a balance. The which
Hmm.
levels the student, every student should use the AI. Even though my daughter is young, she tried to using the AI, but I didn't recommend her to generating some reports or generating answer by model.
Yeah.
But models should be used for the searching or creating some insight to our search. But the final descriptions or summarizations or extracting or summarizing something should be handled by the students. So yeah,
Mm,
my thing.
and in your opinion, how
Mhm.
could generative AI be utilized to optimize the way that people work?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that part. The model can make much more optimized than human process. But like I mentioned, the model's analysis feature is amazing.
Hmm.
So the process optimization is one of the biggest parts. The model can make much better than the human. So there is a might of some the concern. The unfortunately, once our AI model improved that quality, more and more traditional human work and some specific role will be should be disfavored. So yeah, I believe that some the workplace optimizations can be some right place to make much better than human by AI.
Yeah, and what kind of work slash field do you think would benefit the most from it?
To think about, so just before I mentioned about the Queensland policeman station in New Zealand. So one of their concern was that during some summarization or evaluating by the model instead of a policeman,
Hmm.
one of their biggest concern is that their job security. After checking that result, the policeman guys is really surprised at its result because they are analyzing and evaluating based on their providing the framework to check and scoring. It's very the higher levels rather than the postman expected. So they really serious about to removing the job and the job securities.
Hmm.
Likewise, yeah, so I'm pretty sure. So within a 5 or 10 years later, lots of works should be eliminated, and then everything can be automated, so that people should consider to move their role to the another the kind of job. For example, to think about, almost 20, 25 years ago, every the design work or creating some machines or buildings, every the engineer should spend their time to drawing their own blueprints by hands. But now no one is trying to drawing their some design blueprints by
Mhm.
themselves. So using some very nice designing tool, and those engineer doesn't need to have that doesn't need to have that work. Likewise, some all of this the quite the amount of jobs will be eliminated. That are totally the some we are under any the different pace of some AI revolution era, which means like some we already take some multi steps to industrialize and then so industrial revolutions, right? That is some the right word. The kind of industrial revolutionize. So we are taking now the by AI. So yeah, 100%, I'm pretty sure that our models will be revolutionary change the process and then some jobs. So
Yes.
even though some engineers work in the creating the some source code.
Hmm.
So not sure if you already heard about the some Git Copilot.
Yes,
Yeah,
Copilot.
Git GitHub Copilot is
Mhm.
very specialized the Copilot for developers. But I I really enjoying the using the Copilot, but the more and more Copilot's capability and accuracy is much better. So some works is very repeatable and can be handled by the novice or low-level developers. But we don't necessarily have that the low-level developers anymore. Once we have some skillful engineers and architects like me, and then the writing some the requirements, and the model can generate the very nice and clean response rather than the novice engineers or the low-level developers. So yeah, there is some good evidence. Even though our engineering works could be much more automated, and then it doesn't necessarily to the low level, can I say that, lower skilled level developers anymore. So
Mhm.
yeah, most of things need to really change revolutionarily.
Yes.
Even though my work, nobody knows.
Very interesting. Um, oh, you mentioned something with
Mm,
engineers and their ability to create blueprints, which is actually connected to the next question.
mhm.
How do you see Gen AI impact innovation and creativity?
Innovation. Yeah, that is also another the good topics. So the one of the patterns I didn't recognize before the AI coming up. All of the some ideas that nowadays is coming up by customers, because the customers has a real domain expert for each their own business and process. So from the Microsoft itself, so we couldn't making us some specific the guidance to optimizing their own process. But interestingly, the customers share their idea how their business process optimized by our model. So how can I say that? Obviously, innovative one with the AI, much more customer centric, And then the more as customers recognize, model is much more core component to make a much more higher productivities and the business efficiencies. There is a huge differences. Previously, the Microsoft or the IT companies driven any directions to the changing or the innovation stuffs. So for example, uh, digital innovations led by the IT company. But now, interestingly, those ideas came from the the big all of the big, much more bigger portions came from customer side. And then we learned a lot from customers' idea, and then we try to generalize all those idea to real values. There is some differences, the with AI or the previous AI. There is
Yeah.
another learned recently from the AI. Much more the customer centric and the much more important imaginations.
Mhm. Um, what potential do you see for the future of generative AI in your field specifically?
So already the interesting trial started. For example, at the first beginning, our model can make your answers only the text-based one. Our question was only just the text. But more and more, the model can embrace in every type of the contents, recorded multimodalities. Some model involving not only text and then there's some image, like us, how can I say that? Like us human, we
Mm-hmm.
have an eye, we have an ear, we have a nose, and we have a mouth, and we have a skin to feeling some sensibilities. Likewise, models, adding the additional the sensors to analyzing the additional stuffs. For example, analyzing the human's emotions. At first, the model should analyze based on the text, but text is not enough. Sometimes the model should read emotion by his eye. I mean, once he getting the additional context to the image, he can recognize the human's emotions and the scoring. How much people could be satisfied, how much percentage he could some happy or the bad feelings. There is another track, and there's not only the emotional stuff with some eye, with 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 some the videos, but adding some voice. The based on the voice and the model can detect some specific nuance that nobody knows, and then any additional the feelings like some touching feelings and smells that could be done on the track. At least the voice and then the vision and the text that kind of some sensors by recognized or detected or analyzed by models can be much more additional steps.
Mm-hmm.
Models can be merged with some additional channels to analyzing. So the embracing the different channel of the data, models accuracy rate or some response might be much more richer.
Oh my God.
Hello, your model is another expert.
You know what? We'll cut this part out.
Yes, we will. IDB, thank you.
No problem. It's my honor.
It looks messy. Hold on.
No problem.
Oh, she keeps walking in during my interviews.
Mommy is busy.
Mm. Also, I don't have Zoom Premium, so the meeting ends in 10 minutes, so I will need to send you another Zoom link because there are more questions to get
Mhm.
through. Um, so the next one, do you have any concerns that generative AI might affect the development of some employees' thinking skills, or
When you're
like how it might apply in a school setting? Like, does
right.
overuse of AI undermine your own ability to think?
Yes, good point. So I can tell you some examples. The when I was young, when mobile device, the mobile device was not too much smart. In the previous, our mobile phone, it's just a mobile phone. There's no the memories too much like this. In that in that area, we have to memorize all contacts, the phone numbers. At least we have to memorize the many friends and the parents and then any other the groups of some the phone numbers we have to memorize. At least over 20 numbers we have to always keep in our memory. But after releasing the smartphone, not sure the Vivian, how many the phone numbers you can memorize by yourself without having dependencies of the smartphone.
I know 100 digits of pi, and that's it.
Mm,
But I forgot most of them now.
exactly. So there is a patterns. And then now, after releasing the AI, the new generations, their dependencies on the some memories might be different. I
Mm.
would say, even though we don't necessarily to remember the whole context that the phone numbers by ourselves anymore, but the humans still smart. But I would say, even though there's some current dependencies on AI, and then that can make our patterns for work, patterns of our living. But I'm pretty sure there is another revolutionary change our humans' life and behaviors. Obviously, I'm really concerned about some student behavior. For example, when I was young,
Mhm.
every some calculation should be handled by our own calculation through the paper. But I really shocked my daughters and you. Even the school teachers recommended using the calculator. It's more and more our own some calculation capabilities lesser than previous generations. But our kids are still smart, so we can shift our thinking power to the another area. So nobody concerned about our students, the calculation capabilities anymore, right? Likewise, I'm pretty sure AI can replace our work, our capabilities, but that I would say that can be just transformations,
Mhm.
not eliminating or removing the specific jobs. Obviously, revolutions need to have some change. Changes mean eliminating, reducing, replacing, all of things related with some transformations. Yeah, that is my thought.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you mentioned calculators because after the interview with the students,
Mhm.
actually the first paper slash essay that I wrote is comparing calculators to
Mhm.
generative AI.
Mhm.
And a lot of it, the reason why calculators were normalized is because people thought that basic arithmetic skills did not
Mhm.
matter as much as the higher level logic thinking. So
Yeah.
now we see a lot of like calculus students who
Mhm.
depend on their calculator to do basic arithmetic, I would say,
Right.
especially like I've seen some in my classes as well.
Totally. So students can more focusing on their thinking without having any dependencies for the some tiny calculation words.
Yeah.
The calculation is just the calculations. Obviously, to creating the some accurate calculate, the every student have to have some practice to make their calculation capabilities better.
Me
But
personally, I don't get my logic wrong. It's always the basic arithmetic that I lose points on. Not fun.
totally, totally. But Korean parents and even the Chinese parents always teaching
Mhm,
how kids can calculate correctly. There's a first step.
mhm.
But more and more, this effort isn't necessary to having it. So as our technology and the calculators can replace that the capabilities.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. We have 2 minutes left. I will end this recording and I will send you another link.
Please,
Yeah.
please.